Hey class, welcome back. Welcome to week 15 of our course. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we only have, I think, 3 weeks after this week, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks including this week. So 2 weeks after this. Oh my gosh. As a full-time student, as a full-time graduate student, as an instructor, I teach 9 hours, of course. It is weird for me to say that because it still feels like we just started. It still feels like it's August. So I'm both relieved, scared, and a lot going on right now. I'm just like, oh, everything's due at the end. So maybe you guys are feeling the same thing. Everything's due right at the end, of course. So anyways, welcome back. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful break. I know it's still got a few more hours, so I'll try to keep this short and let you get back to your break. Anyways, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, got to see some friends and loved ones, and hopefully you got to eat some good food. I know I did, all the above. Had family in town, had friends over and family over and all that. So, glad I got the break, but I'm ready to get back and kind of finish the semester out strong, and I hope you are as well. I had to record this from my laptop because my desktop, for whatever reason, the camera isn't working, so you work with what you got. This week, we have a couple things going on. This week, I'd like for you to read one of our last 2 chapters. Oh my gosh, can't believe we're saying that. We only have 2 chapters left. Read chapter 13. And chapter 13 is about the methods of therapy. So remember from chapter 12, we talked about the psychological disorders, how we diagnose them, the different types, where the diagnoses come from, et cetera, et cetera. Well, think of chapter 13 as sort of like the other side of that same coin. 13 is about how do we treat them? How do we treat these disorders? So we know what the disorders are. Now let's treat them. So we're going to be looking at methods of therapy. So it's sort of the follow-up chapter. Afterwards, you should be able to define what psychotherapy is and describe sort of the historical treatment of psychological disorders. You should be able to look at sort of the traditional focus of psychoanalysis and maybe short-term psychodynamic therapy. You'll be able to distinguish between humanistic therapy. Also, you'll be able to define what behavioral therapy is and identify various approaches to behavioral therapy. You'll look at cognitive therapy, also Beck's approach to cognitive therapy. You'll look at the advantages and disadvantages of group versus individual therapy. There are sort of trade-offs between both. You'll also afterwards you should be able to explain how psychotherapy works and how people benefit from it, and also some of the methods of biological therapy or biotherapy, biomedical therapy. And this is treatment with medication or surgery. So you're going to get a nice array of kind of what's happening with treatment of mental illness or psychological disorders, a nice overview. And again, if this is a topic that interests you, OSU OKC does offer a course in abnormal psychology, which covers obviously the disorders themselves and the treatment. So keep that in mind. I took a abnormal course at OU and absolutely loved it. So for many of you, this might be what interests you in psychology. So consider that. So read chapter 13 this week. We do have a discussion post that I have posted already before this video. It is on prefrontal lobotomies. Maybe you've heard about those before, a sort of historical surgical procedure used in psychology that is more infamous than famous. A lot of movies have been made about lobotomies or pop culture references, There's a Ramones song about it that's great. So what I'd like for you to do is tell me about prefrontal lobotomies. Answer some of the questions that I put up in our discussion post, and tell me about prefrontal lobotomies and a little bit about them, and hopefully learn a little bit about them yourself. Also, wanted to give you a heads up as far as assignments go that you can still take the assessment, the fall 2017 assessment for extra credit. You can still earn a few points extra credit. I won't be adding those into your grade until probably the end, but just be aware you can still do that. Next week, I'm going to post our last writing assignment, which is where you locate a scientific scholarly article and tell me about it, and do a little bit of research. And I'll explain more of that next week, but just be aware that's on the horizon. And also, I'm going to, our last exam is coming up pretty soon. I'll post that next exam probably next week and give you, a little more time on it. But it'll only cover 2 chapters instead, so just be aware of that. So this week, read chapter 13, make sure to complete the discussion post and the peer responses in time, and then let me know if you have any questions, concerns, anything at all, about the content, about the assignment, anything like that. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy the remainder of your break, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.